African Americans have a long history of settlement and livelihood in the Chesapeake Bay region, from Virginia to New York, and these areas have been significant cultural and economic centers. After the Civil War, newly freed African Americans found jobs in industries like oyster harvesting and boat building along the Chesapeake, forming new communities and maintaining cultural traditions like maritime shanties. Before that, many enslaved and free African Americans lived along the waterfront, and the Chesapeake Bay was a crucial waterway for the Underground Railroad. Further north, early settlements such as Sandy Ground on Staten Island and Weeksville in Brooklyn emerged as important communities from the 19th century onward. Pocahontas Island is known as one of the earliest predominantly African American settlements in the state of Virginia. By 1860, it became a freedom colony with established businesses and homes. Today, Pocahontas Island is still a predominantly Black residential neighborhood with public access to the Appomattox River Trail, where you can run, walk, bike, canoe, kayak.
And we still got direct descendants live here. My Stewards. One of those stewards was my great-great-grandfather. Right now, we look at the age of the people over here. See, age and income and education has a lot to do with Black folk. And we don't realize that we don't appreciate old things. On this place here, in 2002 and 3, I was going to retire. So I took all my retirement money and so forth, and several decided I had to do something. In 6 months, I opened this up as a museum.
Like you said, if you don't learn your history, you're going to go back and you're going to repeat it. But if you know it, you're not going to let nobody tell you anything. And he said you always should tell your family history. If you got one child, you make sure that child talk to their parents, their grandparents, and their great-grandma and all that stuff so you can know their history. Every generation got a part of history that needs to be told.
Tobytown was largely agriculture. The residents tended to their own gardens and fields. They never established a dedicated business district, but they did have a general store operating out of a lockhouse at the C&O Canal that served the community.
And you're sharing them. You don't need monetary concern. You had barter system because everybody ever made their own. We're self-resilient. We would barter and trade with somebody who had it. So that's civilized. When we consider civilization, we consider these monstrosities that cover over the natural world that we're to be living in tune with.
As we walk along the C&O Canal, the Chesapeake and Ohio Canal, which is not far from where Tobytown was founded. It was founded by families in 1875, and the only thing left of this historic area are the cemeteries. The legacy of Black landowners traces all the way to New York, a place where Maryland oystermen came for great opportunities. This place, Sandy Ground, formerly known as Harrisville or Little Africa, was named for its soil's poor quality.
My ancestors did that. They are buried in the cemetery that's there on Crabtree Lane. My family still owns a lot of property that's there. And I am an 8th generation direct descendant to the first free Blacks to purchase property on Staten Island.
Water is a crucial element for health, survival, and human enjoyment. Newly freed Blacks in the Mid-Atlantic region of the United States of America settled near rivers, lakes, and coastlines to forge new lives. Lives that would include leisure and relaxation. In 1902, this beachfront land along the Chesapeake Bay was purchased by Frederick Carr. He purchased over 100 acres of land along the eastern shore of Maryland. His children, Elizabeth Carr and Florence Barrow, inherited the land, forming the name Carrs and Sparrows Beach, the sister beaches. The site has been preserved to honor the legacy as a place for recreation, music, and community during segregation. About 3.3 miles away, you'll find Highland Beach, purchased by Major Charles Douglas, the son of Frederick Douglass, in 1892. Highland Beach is a beautiful private beachfront community.
That was his house. But Dr. John Francis had this lot. And Frederick Douglass saw how close it is to the creek and was afraid that his grandchildren would fall in the water. So he convinced Dr. Francis to swap houses. Dr. Francis owned a hospital, just a few steps from the White House. The thing about this place is there's so many accomplishments and achievements. There's never enough time to talk about all the accomplishments and achievements. So they spend their time talking about what's been achieved rather than what was not achieved or how hard it was. Everybody knows how hard it was. Booker T. Washington was here, Paul Laurence Dunbar, W.B. Du Bois, all the black people who were active at the time came to Highland Beach as a way to get out of Washington, let their hair down, relax, rejuvenate, before they went back to get into the fight. But when you talk to the children and grandchildren, great-grandchildren about the accomplishments, that's incentive for them to keep going. And when I'm talking the 1890s, so we're just 30 years out of the enslavement coming to an end, a few years after Reconstruction, and these people were wealthy.
In the 1940s, Amaza Lee Meredith and her sister Maud Terry developed Azurest North, a 120-lot subdivision and vacation destination for middle-class African Americans. Sag Harbor Hills and Nineveh followed shortly after in 1950 and 1952. This historically African American vacation community on Long Island was developed in the 1940s and still remains a place where Black people come together to vacation and leisure.
So every summer my mother would rent a home in Azurest. We were nestled in between Earl Graves, who was the CEO of Black Enterprise Magazine, and the dentist on the other side. And just like all of the neighbors were what you would call Black excellence. And then there were some people who lived there year-round, native to Sag Harbor. I'd spend my summers riding my bike up and down the hills of Azurest, Sag Harbor Hills, and Nineveh Beach communities, going through bike paths and also swimming right there on the bay. My cousins would join me, and it was really an opportunity for my mother to invite all her friends and family to come and enjoy this beachfront property. And we did that summer after summer. The reason why it's important to preserve this is for the reason why they were created. Originally these neighborhoods, these beachfront properties were properties no one else wanted, and we made it our own. We built homes from scratch. We created community outside of New York City or wherever we were traveling from, the suburbs, Long Island, what have you. And community is why it's so important to preserve. And there aren't many spaces where we can converge together and build community and keep traditions and grow children into fine adults and just really keep tradition. It's about community and tradition and preserving culture.
In 2024, the Chesapeake Conservancy chronicled more than 65 historically Black beaches and other important sites in the Chesapeake Bay watershed alone.